The news hit like a thunderclap in the Outlander fandom. Just hours ago, multiple entertainment outlets confirmed what fans never expected to hear. Caitríona Balfe has officially filed for divorce from her husband, Tony McGill. According to insider reports, the paperwork was quietly submitted earlier this week in London, citing irreconcilable differences, the phrase that, in Hollywood, always hides 1,000 stories beneath it. For years, Caitríona and Tony were considered one of the most private, grounded couples in the industry. Their love story had been refreshingly normal in a world built on spectacle. They met long before Outlander made Caitríona a household name. Back then, she was a former model turned actress still finding her place, and Tony was a respected music producer known for his work behind the scenes. Their relationship grew far from flashing cameras. They dated quietly for years before making their first public appearance together at the BAFTA Awards in 2017, when Caitríona introduced him as her fiancé. Just 2 years later, in August 2019, they tied the knot in a secret ceremony at St. Mary's Church in Bruton, England, a small, intimate wedding attended only by family and close friends. At the time, fans swooned. She found her real-life Jamie Fraser, many wrote, thrilled that the woman who played one of television's most iconic romantic heroines had found love of her own. But as Outlander soared to global success, cracks began to form beneath the surface. Caitríona's schedule became relentless. Months spent in Scotland filming, promotional tours across continents, award shows, press junkets, red carpets. Tony, who preferred a quieter life away from fame, remained mostly in London, managing his projects in the music industry. The distance, sources say, slowly grew into silence. In the past year, fans began noticing subtle changes. Caitríona stopped wearing her wedding ring during public appearances. At major events like the Outlander Season 7 premiere and the Belfast Oscars campaign, Tony was nowhere to be seen. Though Caitríona maintained her professional grace, the absence spoke volumes. Rumors began swirling online. Whispers of separation, of living separate lives, of emotional exhaustion. Still, loyal fans dismissed them, trusting Caitríona's reputation as someone fiercely private and deeply loyal. That's why this week's confirmation feels so heartbreaking. An anonymous friend reportedly told the Daily Mail, it wasn't a dramatic breakup. There was no scandal, they simply grew apart. Caitríona's life is lived on airplanes and film sets. Tony's is rooted in London. Eventually, that kind of distance becomes impossible to bridge. The words, irreconcilable differences, may sound clinical, but for Caitríona, known for her sensitivity and introspection, they represent years of quiet struggle. In interviews over the past few years, she has occasionally hinted at the challenge of balancing fame and personal life. In one particularly candid moment, she said, "It's hard to have a normal relationship when your world is anything but normal." At the time, it seemed like a passing comment. Now, it feels hauntingly prophetic. What makes this story hit even harder for fans is how much Caitríona fought to keep her marriage out of the spotlight. Unlike most celebrities, she never used her relationship for publicity. In fact, she once told a reporter, "I keep my private life private because I don't want to give people the chance to destroy it." Ironically, that same instinct for privacy may have also created a wall, one that, over time, became too high to climb. As soon as the news broke, social media was flooded with reactions. Fans from around the world expressed shock and heartbreak. "I thought they were one of the good ones. This is so sad, she always seemed genuinely happy with Tony. I hope she finds peace, she deserves it." Others reflected on the toll of celebrity life. "Imagine trying to hold on to something real while living inside a global phenomenon," one user wrote. "Fame can break even the strongest love." In the hours following the announcement, Caitríona's team declined to issue an official statement. However, multiple sources close to the actress confirmed that the divorce was amicable, and that both parties had immense respect for one another. Still, fans can't help but feel a sense of loss. For years, Caitríona and Tony represented the rare Hollywood couple that stayed untouched by gossip, a union that felt grounded, pure, real. And yet, as one entertainment columnist put it, even the most beautiful love stories sometimes end quietly, not in anger, but in acceptance. The world may never know the full story behind Caitríona Balfe's decision. But one thing is clear. The woman who once brought the world's most passionate love story to life on screen has now faced her own heartbreak off it. As one fan wrote poignantly on Twitter, "She made us believe in love on screen. Now, we just hope she finds it again, for real." The headlines came fast, but the silence that followed was even louder. After years of shielding her personal life from the world, Caitríona Balfe has found herself at the center of the very storm she always tried to avoid. The woman who once played Claire Fraser, the symbol of unwavering love and devotion, is now facing a heartbreak of her own. In the days after the news broke, fans around the world filled social media with messages of sympathy and disbelief. "She's always carried herself with so much grace," one fan wrote. "It's painful to think she's hurting behind that smile." And yet, those close to Caitríona say this decision didn't come overnight. It was years in the making, a slow unraveling rather than a sudden break. A source close to the couple revealed, their lives were just moving in opposite directions. Caitríona's world became enormous, constant travel, filming schedules, interviews, award shows. Tony preferred privacy, stability, and the simplicity of everyday life. Eventually, it became clear they wanted different things. Indeed, while Caitríona spent most of her time on location in Scotland shooting Outlander or in Los Angeles promoting new projects, Tony remained in London running his small independent label. The long-distance nature of their relationship, combined with the unrelenting demands of fame, slowly created a gap too wide to close. They never fought publicly, the source continued. But the distance was emotional, not just physical. They just drifted apart. In recent months, fans had already begun noticing the signs. Caitríona stopped mentioning Tony in interviews. On her Instagram, once peppered with subtle references to their quiet life together, posts became more reflective, landscapes, quotes about change, solitude, and self-discovery. Then, a few weeks before the divorce filing, she shared a cryptic story that read, "Sometimes the hardest choice is the right one." No one thought much of it at the time. Now, it feels like a quiet farewell. Hollywood insiders say Caitríona handled the separation with the same dignity that's defined her entire career. There were no public statements, no messy headlines, no accusations, just the simple, heartbreaking fact that a love once strong had reached its natural end. But what's touched fans the most is how this news has humanized her even more. Behind the glamour, awards, and success, Caitríona is, at her core, a woman who has faced the same pain millions of others have. The pain of realizing love sometimes isn't enough. And while some tabloids have tried to stir speculation, linking the split to her longtime Outlander co-star Sam Heughan, both have remained steadfast in their friendship and professionalism. Sam, who has always spoken about Caitríona with affection and respect, reportedly reached out privately to offer support. A friend close to the cast said, "They've been through everything together. Years of filming, the pressure of fame, endless rumors. Sam cares deeply for her as a friend. He just wants her to be okay." Fans quickly noticed Sam's quiet gesture online, a simple like on one of her recent posts that read, "New beginnings are sometimes disguised as painful endings." That small interaction sparked waves of emotion. Many saw it not as gossip, but as a moment of solidarity between two people who share a unique bond forged through years of shared struggle. Meanwhile, Caitríona has thrown herself back into work. She's been focusing on Outlander's final season, as well as several independent film projects. But those who know her say this moment marks more than a career pivot, it's a personal rebirth. She's always been fiercely independent, an industry colleague shared. She built her career from the ground up, and she'll rebuild her life the same way, quietly, gracefully, and on her own terms. Her fans believe it too. Across Twitter, Messages pour in. She deserves peace. She gave us strength through her characters, now we send her ours. Divorce doesn't mean failure. It means choosing yourself. Even major outlets have praised her strength, calling her handling of the situation a masterclass in dignity. In a world that thrives on chaos, Caitríona Balfe has chosen silence, self-respect, and authenticity. As one columnist wrote, she didn't make a spectacle out of pain. She turned it into a lesson. That ending something doesn't erase the love that once was. And perhaps that's the true legacy of this chapter. Because for all her fame and recognition, Caitríona's real power lies not in how perfectly she plays her roles, but in how gracefully she faces life when the script falls apart. In her most recent interview, when asked about change, Caitríona simply smiled and said, "Life isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go, and trusting that something new will bloom from it." Those words, soft yet powerful, seem to capture everything this moment represents. The love story that began quietly in London has ended the same way, quietly, respectfully, and without bitterness. And though her marriage is over, Caitríona Balfe stands stronger than ever. A reminder that even the most beautiful endings can lead to new beginnings. Because in the end, love doesn't always mean forever. Sometimes, it just means once upon a time.